Welcome to the Right Podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Right Podcast. This is Julia McCoy, and today I'm really excited to share with you that my book, So You Think You Can Write, The Definitive Guide to Successful Online Writing, is finally out. It launched today on Amazon. You can go buy it at bit.ly/Julia McCoy. This book is a summary of every skill I've learned and taught myself in the last few years to create successful online content, from blogs to web pages and much more. The direct Amazon book link will also be in this podcast description.
Amazing marketing stories, inspiration for entrepreneurs and business owners, real content marketing strategies, tips and advice, and much more.
I've had this book idea for years, and I started working on So You Think You Can Write about a year ago. It's been crazy just to get through this year of writing a book. I have a whole new respect for authors. Writing a book is no small task, especially if you really want to make it a good and worthwhile book. So the section I'm going to read to you begins at the introduction, and I will read you chapter 1. So let's get started. Introduction. As an online marketer, site owner, and freelance writer, I've been in online content creation since 2011. In a short few years, I've seen the entire world of online content evolve for hundreds of businesses. The good news is that I've seen a great deal of progression. In 2011, I saw a lot of subpar online content do just fine. And then Google Panda hit the web. A lot of duplicate, keyword-stuffed, poor content got struck down from the rankings. Every time a major Google update has come out, I've researched it, written about it, and watched marketers flinch and then adapt. Some of my favorite clients were the marketers who came to me with the need to change and fit their content to the new Google rules and regulations. I think I was on speed dial for some of them. It was simple, really. Many of these marketers just needed higher quality content, or they needed to replace the duplicate content on their site that they'd copied over from somewhere else on the web. Yikes. So today's overall online content direction is progressing toward a higher content quality and standard all over the web. And who's the major driving force? Google. I've been doing this for half a decade now, and I run a 7-figure company with a team of talented writers delivering online content to businesses of all kinds. This has been my self-taught full-time career path. Here's my belief about succeeding in this field. You don't need a college course to learn to be an online writer. The nitty-gritty, hands-on, real-world skills of online content writing aren't taught in college yet. I'll agree that a foundational knowledge from College English 101 or 102 is applicable if it helps to refine your basic writing skills. Consequently, a journalism degree does help if you choose to write press releases. But I firmly believe anyone can be self-taught in successful online content writing to create great content for themselves or earn a living doing it, with the caveat that they have a passion and talent for writing, because passion and talent will keep them going. I've seen this manifest in my own career. If you're this kind of writer, but you don't know how to bring your talents online yet, or you want to solidify your knowledge in creating good online content, then my guide is just for you. I'm giving you such a thorough, definitive guide on online content writing that if you follow it, you'll be ready to write any kind of content that will rank well online and be successful, whether it's for your clients or yourself. Chapter 1. Starting Grounds. Success in online writing, both monetary and in the subsequent value and ranking of great web content, can happen for any passionate writer and brand, given the opportunity to learn the tricks of the online writing trade. The tough part is there's no one easy course to sign up for that teaches you all of the tricks you need to know to succeed. I was completely self-taught, and I picked up some of my best skills by learning them on the job as I wrote online content for my clients. Not what I'd suggest for everyone. I think that essential writing skills are born from a passion that surfaces at a young age. This passion can't be taught, and it's the starting point of what it takes to be a stellar content creator and copywriter. My starting grounds can be traced back to writing fiction when I was just 9 years old. Many professional copywriters, probably more than half, dabble in fiction when the mood strikes them. Writing fiction maintains and sharpens the base skills of creative writing. When we grow up telling stories, it's only natural that we incorporate pieces of them into our current writing. And guess what? Fiction writing is the fertile ground where some of the greatest storytelling genius is born and cultivated. A passion for storytelling, born at an early age, can blossom into amazing online content writing skills at a later age, and thus translate into well-developed copywriting chops for the world's most successful brands. Ordinary writers doing extraordinary things. Storytelling comes from showing reality from a different perspective. It can be summed up that simply. An interesting, unique point of view can really draw a person in. And when you combine that identifiable point of view with a good story to tell, you transform that story into an extension of someone's life. A good story in advertising copy makes the person witnessing it subconsciously think, gee, that sounds like or could be me. How was that emotion pulled out? By a story told so well that it became relatable and real. Very often, that person goes on to become a customer for the company that drew them in and related to them on a personal level. Although storytelling styles and media has changed over time, the idea that a good story appeals to the audience is timeless. It's why we tell our kids stories adapted from 16th century German fairy tales. The story is, in itself, a timeless art form. Once upon a time, stories were used as a means of promoting discourse. Socrates presented his thoughts to the public in the form of fables. Many ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, such as Euclid and Plato, used to couch their factual knowledge in storytelling. And you know what? Stories stick. Who remembers the first grade fairy tale rather than the sixth grade geography or math lesson? Me too. It goes to show that a relatable story is often remembered far more accurately and much more vividly than drier content pushed down our throats as rote memorization. This persistence of memory is also another reason why the story has taken root in modern-day advertising. Storytelling allows us to bring the audience into the front seat and, at times, make each person feel like the most important person in the room. Nothing is as memorable as a show put on just for you, unless it's a show that is starring you. In our attempts at storytelling, we try to put the audience in the driver's seat and have them experience the feelings and emotions that an ordinary person would feel in such a position. Like the myriad of writers that came before us, from Herodotus to Shakespeare, we continue to carry on the timeless work of telling stories. What are the online writers' stories made of? Now, obviously, online copywriters don't write the kinds of stories found in books. You just won't see a guy staring at a full-page ad and reading it like a novel, enjoying its use of double entendre. Maybe we'll get there one day, when every single one of us enjoys the fabulous art of reading entire volumes voraciously. But I highly doubt that's likely. Our attention spans are currently dwindling, not growing, according to research. So, the way an online writer builds a story is a little different. While a fictional writer has a toolbox full of plots, devices, and character portraits, the content writer has a trunk full of information about whom they want to reach and the most effective way to do it. We begin by researching our audience first and foremost before we even start writing. A fiction writer starts with the premise and then finds the audience. But the copywriter starts with the audience and then generates the premise. And they create a story that sells to that audience. There are a number of different success tales in businesses, both large and small, that testify to the usefulness of this story as a marketing tool. Recent trends in marketing have shown that combining the idea of a story to teach the audience something has a far greater impact on final sales. As entertaining as a story is, if it doesn't sell, then it isn't successful from a marketing perspective. So, are there limits to storytelling? Will a story ever detract from a message you need to get across to a potential customer in order to sell him or her? Enter the following example. Marketing storytelling so good, it sold crap literally. An example of storytelling success in marketing, Poopery. Recently, I came across an example of brand storytelling so good, it blew my mind. It was an ad by the brand Poopery on YouTube. This 3-minute, 5-second video captured me and held my attention the entire time. Yes, it interrupted the writing of this book. The video opens with a beautiful English redheaded girl drinking tea and eating baked goods with her lady friends. She suddenly experiences the passing of gas, looks into the camera, and says, "My butt trumpet is about to blow." And when the chocolate eclairs spreads my hot cross buns, no one will ever know. It's time to go down the crappet hole where smelling is believing. The viewer then proceeds to get flushed down a toilet into a music video where people are doing yoga and simultaneously singing about crap with their heads between their legs. Did that just make you say what? And then immediately want to know more? The maker of this newer brand sold no less than 4 million products to date. And I think the magic of their storytelling is a primary reason. Make your story educating and entertaining. Poopery's example is so crazy good, it's out of this world. Literally, I haven't seen a better tale in marketing. If you can nail a story that creative, then my hat is off to you. Not every brand will be able to come up with that amount of successful crappy puns. Pun intended. So even if you can't be the next Poopery, here's how you should be using the hugely important element of storytelling in your content. The overall aim of our online storytelling should be to educate and entertain, and from that, naturally to sell. Educating validates the idea of a value-based content system, what Google and readers love today. Success for the online marketer is found in copy that isn't aimed at a hard sale, but instead offers useful, insightful, thorough, visualized content that naturally attracts warm leads out of viewers. And entertaining is simply your desired and achievable level of creativity, however far you want to go to make your story entertain your fans, on a 1 to Poopery level. With a truly useful, educational, entertaining storyline and consistent content output, regular blogs, videos, or other content types, you'll draw in warm leads that will keep reading your content because it gives them an answer or solves their problems. And these leads are much more likely to buy your product than the readers faced with a cold sale. This is big news for us writers. Since a whopping 40% or more of the world's population now has access to the internet, which means there are more than 3 billion people online, internet marketing is the primary advertising avenue for all businesses. More than 8 new people get online every second, and over 139,000 new websites go live every day based on 2013 statistics. 46% of people read blogs more than once a day, and 82% of marketers who blog daily gain a customer from their blogs. Adobe has reported that internet TV will be replacing traditional cable television, with internet video viewing growing by 388% annually, and cable TV seeing the lowest number of viewers today than it has ever seen. I could cite stats all day long, but the point is, if you're in business, your best audience is found online. And the foundation of all online marketing is good content. Fundamentally, good storytelling is the key to writing content that excels. Then add to this strong underlying foundation a mix of SEO knowledge, research skills, and the ability to thoroughly address all of your readers' questions. Learning to create captivating headlines that correctly reflect what the content is about is another important tool in your skill set. This described process is also what I'm about to teach you in my book. This approach is already working. Numbers don't lie. Companies such as General Electric and Red Bull have utilized the medium of storytelling in a bold new way, giving their viewers and readers stories informing as opposed to selling. Go read and watch some of the media on their websites if you want to be inspired. And as I showed, there are brands like Poo-Pourri taking storytelling to the next creative level and simply selling through the power of an astoundingly fun brand. Providing useful, engaging content is the new face of marketing. If you're aware of this concept and can manage to blend storytelling with useful information, then you're well on your way to becoming a first-class content creator. And once you've had some experience in storytelling, whether it is making up fables on the fly for your kid brother, eating up volumes of beautiful fiction tales at a time, or writing a lengthy essay you actually enjoyed creating for your middle school teacher, then you probably have the skills for this type of content. Truth be told, I personally find it easier to write from an ad or targeted online copy perspective than just writing from a fictional perspective. Fiction gives you a lot of freedom to experiment, but too much of a good thing means you have no limits or boundaries, and it's very easy to wander off message. In contrast, online copy almost every time has defined guidelines to work within, and although you are challenged to think outside the box where really good ideas are born, it's highly unlikely that you'll end up doing something wrong if you stay within the guidelines while exercising your writing talents and skills. In this type of writing, once you understand the instructions, it's impossible to stray off the beaten path, fall off a cliff, or wander into the weeds. End of chapter 1.
For more online content, tips, and strategies, visit expresswriters.com/blog.
I really hope you enjoyed this brief excerpt of my book, So You Think You Can Write, The Definitive Guide to Successful Online Writing. To buy my book on Amazon, both print and Kindle, go to bit.ly/Julia McCoy. Don't forget, if you like the book, leave me a review on Amazon. Thank you so much for joining me on today's Write Podcast.